So you've got a low center of gravity chassis, otherwise known as LCG Cheater Rig. Yes, cheater, you're cheating all the way up those rocks. And as you're going up those rocks, you get to the breakover point and you're having a little issues getting over that, even though you've got an angled skid on your cheater rig. What can you do? Come join me as I go through an option to provide some help. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the other side. Welcome to Henry's RC Garage. I will get right into it today. We have got a Team G-Speed V3 carbon fiber chassis on the bench today, where I have installed the front and rear axles, the motor, and the transmission along with the drive shafts to where we need the drive shafts to help us identify the issue we're seeing and help rectify it. So let's look at that. So right now we have got the transmission running. The motor's running, it's pushing the transmission or spinning the transmission, where the front output shaft from the transmission is spinning in the counterclockwise direction, which also spins our front axle pinion in the counterclockwise direction as well, which then has our front hexes moving in the forward direction, which is what we want. So let's look at the rear real quick. The rear also is spinning, the drive shaft is spinning in the counterclockwise direction. However, our rear axle, the pinion is spinning in the clockwise direction, which then spins our rear hexes in the opposite direction or the reverse direction. So that is our issue. So in order for us to rectify that, we need to flip the third member. So, but let's look at this a little bit further here. I've got the angled skid here. I've got a front straight axle, and I've got a portal axle in the rear. Yeah, I was going to I had the front and rear axles for straight that I was going to put in, but I decided, you know what, I am going to put a portal in the rear just to help with the breakover. Because even though I got the angle skid, I don't have the high clearance links, which would also help, but I just don't have any on hand. But the next best thing is to change out the axle from a straight axle to a portal axle and flip the third member so that I get the breakover clearance that I'm looking for the rear axle. Instead of the straight axle getting hung up, I got a portal axle where it could have an easier time getting over the breakover. So with all that, we need to Dremel out the axle in the rear and flip the third member so where the ring gear spins freely and doesn't get bound up. Yeah, I could probably use the aluminum F10 portal axle in the rear where it already has that, but I didn't. So I don't have that. I'm not here to make it easy for myself today. So with that, we are going to get cracking on this, get our portal off, get our third member flipped, and put back on. You can do this too. It really isn't that hard. If you've got the Dremel with the tip, you can Dremel out that groove to flip that third member so that you can have this type of build as well. Now, you don't have to spend a whole lot of money either. I'm sure there's a lot of us out there that have axles lying around from other builds where we may have changed them out for an aluminum axle, or we had to buy an extra axle to do what we wanted to do. But the parts are lying around in your parts bin. Why not put them to use? If you want to do a new build, you could probably do a new build just with the parts you have lying around. So it won't cost you that much. If anything, maybe the most it may cost you, maybe a motor, transmission, an ESC. But to do this little build here, it really isn't that difficult. So in case you haven't realized it, with a portal axle in the rear with a straight axle in the front, it's called a mullet. Now, I grew up in the 80s. The mullet, I thought, was a hairstyle from the 80s. And today, I think people are still wearing the mullet today too. But I also read up, it's also a fish, a bony fish at that. So when you put a portal axle, the hairstyle from the 80s, and a bony fish, what do you get? A mullet. right. We are now ready to test this thing. So let's turn this thing on. Look at that. We got our drive shafts are moving in the right direction now. This is moving in forward direction, and this is moving in the forward direction right here. So, and our drive shafts are doing the same thing. Well, that was a chore. Get that groove put in. The only sad thing about it is that when we flip it, our pinion now, instead of being on the high, is going to be on the low, and it kind of sits below our links. So not sure what we can do about that at the moment, but it is what it is. So there we have that. I bet now you want to go fishing for that mullet just to see what one looks like. In any case, I hope you got some valuable information from this video to do a mullet build of your own if you've been thinking about it. It really was the best option for me since it didn't cost a whole lot and I already had the portal axle in my parts bin. And the Dremel was a plus. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. It's free. I won't even charge you. I won't even send you an invoice. And I will catch you on the next one.